I'm 68 years old. For most of my life, I thought I was just an ordinary wife. I had been married to James for 40 years. We had 2 sons and beautiful grandchildren. I believed I had the perfect family. But what I am about to tell you is the story of how the 2 people I trusted most betrayed me. One evening James said, "Darling, Linda is coming over for dinner tonight." I was delighted. Linda was my best friend. We had been close for more than 20 years. We raised our children together and grew old side by side. James often said, "Linda is the best friend you could ever have." Back then, I didn't realize what those words truly meant. Months later, I began noticing small changes. James started placing his phone face down on the table. When I asked about it, he said, "It's nothing, just a habit." Linda began visiting more often. "My house feels so empty these days," she said. Watching James and Linda laugh together, I felt happy. I thought, how nice it is that they are such good friends. How foolish I was. Then, one Saturday morning, a message notification appeared on James's phone. The preview on the screen read, "Last night was amazing. When can we meet again? L." My heart stopped. "L? What is this, James? Is this Linda?" James panicked, grabbed the phone, and muttered, "Oh, it's just a friend thing. Don't misunderstand." But deep down, I already knew. For a week I quietly observed James's lies, Linda's awkward smiles. All the pieces began falling into place. On Friday night, I finally confronted him. "You're having an affair with Linda, aren't you?" At first James denied it. But when I presented evidence, piece by piece, he broke down. "I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. But this is true love." True love? So our 40-year marriage was a lie? The next day, I met with Linda. "Linda, tell me the truth. What is going on between you and James?" She looked straight at me and said, "I'm sorry, but we really love each other. You wouldn't understand. This was my friend of 20 years. You had 40 years of love. Now it's my turn." In that moment, I realized something terrifying. She had envied me all along. James moved out soon after. When I told our sons the truth, they were furious. How could Dad do this? Aunt Linda? The woman who helped raise us. But James and Linda were shameless. They appeared hand in hand at the neighborhood cafe, posting smiling pictures of their romance on social media. Neighbors whispered behind my back. Poor woman, 40 years of devotion wasted. I became the complete victim. For the next 3 years, I fell apart. Depression consumed me. I cried every day. The collapse of my 40-year marriage. The betrayal of my best friend. Even therapy didn't help. My children worried. "Mom, please stop crying. Just forget about Dad." But I couldn't. I lost weight, lost sleep, lost myself. The neighbors whispered, "Poor woman, 40 years, all for nothing." Then, one autumn evening, 3 years later, there was a knock at my door. I opened it to find James. His hair had turned completely gray, his face gaunt. He looked shabby and smelled of alcohol. "Hi, how have you been?" he asked softly. He told me, "The kids won't see me. I haven't seen the grandchildren in 3 years. And I've missed you." In that moment, something shifted inside me. The tears I had shed for years suddenly stopped. As I looked at James, I realized something. He had already been punished. But it wasn't over yet. "Come in. Let's talk," I said. That night, I poured out all my pain. The depression, the sleepless nights, the loneliness. James kept his head down. "I'm so sorry I was such a fool," he whispered. But I was no longer the same broken woman. 3 years of suffering had hardened me. And then it struck me. 40 years of knowledge no one else had was the sharpest weapon of all. That night, I used everything I had learned about him over 4 decades. I cooked his favorite meal. I massaged his shoulders. I spoke the words that soothed his heart. Things Linda could never know. What calmed him when he was stressed, what comforted him when he felt small. But this time, I was in control. That night, we became husband and wife again. But it wasn't love. It was the first step of my revenge. A few days later, James returned. This time he brought flowers. That night, "Thank you. It was the first time I slept peacefully in years," he confessed. When I was with Linda, I was always anxious. I smiled and welcomed him, but inside I calculated. So, this is how much he suffered for 3 years. Slowly, James began to rely on me again. 40 years of habits don't disappear in 3. "This feels like home again," he said. "This is my real home. As time passed, James opened up about his years with Linda. At first it was exciting. New love, after all, but Linda was so suspicious. She questioned me every day. She even asked if I was still thinking about you. I nodded silently, but inside I smiled. And she couldn't understand me like you do. The little things, my favorite foods, my sleeping habits, I pretended to listen with sympathy. But I was savoring every word. After few days, Linda herself appeared at my door. Her face was tight with worry. Has James been here? When? How often? What did you two talk about? She demanded. Her voice shook. Come in, I said calmly. Let's talk. She stepped inside and immediately noticed James's socks on the sofa. He had left them there the night before. Her face turned pale. What is this? She shouted. I said softly, they're just socks. Just socks? Why are they here? Linda, sit down. I'll make you some tea. My calmness drove her deeper into paranoia. I never gave her clear answers. Because ambiguity is the sharpest knife. James began visiting me more and more. The more Linda interrogated him, the more suffocated he felt. Linda has become too sensitive, he told me. She questions me every day. She suspects everything. I feel at peace only when I'm with you. I comforted him. On the surface, I was the understanding ex-wife. Inside, I was laughing. One evening James came after a terrible fight with Linda. She told me not to see you anymore, he said. But there are issues with the kids, with the house. Do whatever you want, I told him gently. I don't mind. That freedom was intoxicating to him. The opposite of Linda's control. That night, I overheard him on the phone, speaking loudly enough for me to hear. I'm going to live my own life. You can't control me, Linda. The next day Linda stormed into my house. You're seducing him, aren't you? After 40 years, shouldn't you let him go? Why are you interfering with our love? Linda, I said calmly, I haven't done anything. James came here on his own. Liar, she screamed. You must have done something. At that moment, the door opened. James walked in. The three of us stood in tense silence. What are you doing here? Linda shouted at him. James stammered, there are issues with the kids. Linda screamed, liar. There must be another reason. That's when I spoke. Linda, calm down. We're just settling the past. Settling the past? She repeated, trembling. I turned to James and smiled. Right, honey? Linda froze. What did you just call him? Honey? James's panicked face said everything. And in that moment, her doubt devoured her. Because doubt is more terrifying than the truth. From then on, cracks widened between them. Linda accused, James denied, both grew exhausted. Something is going on with her, isn't it? Linda cried. Why do you go there every day? You really didn't do anything? James complained to me. Linda has changed so much. She wasn't like this before. I patted his hand. New relationships come with anxiety. Please be patient. But I was smiling inside. Weeks later, James returned, completely worn out. I broke up with Linda, he said weakly. The fights, the suspicion, I couldn't take it anymore. I pretended to be surprised. Oh my, really? Why? James said, she was too obsessed with you. She couldn't let go of the past. But you're different. You understand me. You make me feel safe. At that moment, I knew. 40 years of wisdom had defeated fleeting passion. But I didn't take him back. I'm sorry, James. I'm happy being alone now, I told him. He was stunned. Then what am I supposed to do? That was the path you chose. Now live with it. James had lost Linda, and then he lost me. Our sons turned their backs on him. He never saw his grandchildren. He became utterly alone. Today James lives by himself in a small studio apartment. I heard Linda has already moved on with another man. I, on the other hand, live surrounded by my children and grandchildren. Sometimes James calls me. Can't we start over? He pleads. But I always answer, no. I have a new life now. This is what real revenge looks like. Not screaming, not begging. Not clinging but letting your enemy destroy themselves. 40 years of knowledge was a weapon no new passion could withstand. James tried to find new love. In the end, he lost everything. Linda thought she had won. In the end, she was consumed by her own jealousy. And I began as the victim. But I became the survivor. The only true winner. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. Now, I know exactly what that means. Thank you.